All right, guys. So I really don't know what's going on in terms of the mainstream media right now with the gaming journalism and their sudden weird kind of just out of nowhere attacks that they're doing on Dragon Age the Veilguard. Out of nowhere, they just completely turned the page and they went 180 in the opposite direction because they all went from praising the Veilguard and giving it 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s, and talking about how stunning and brave it is and how amazing the character creator is. And now all of a sudden they're all trying to say that the game is a bad look for the overall message that is trying to portray, which, don't get me wrong, I do agree with. I just find it highly sus that all of them are saying this at the exact same time.
Woke, woke.
Now, I know a lot of people like to make the joke, oh, the money must have came in, the check must have cleared, blah, 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 whatever. But I don't think you guys understand what Access Media actually is. Access Media is not going to want to risk their access to the media. Like, that's the entire point. They don't want to risk the access to the mainstream industry. And by saying the things that they're saying, especially about Dragon Age the Veilguard, especially considering that it has to do with trans people, I just find it very interesting that they're all willing to do this when they were just praising the game, not even a week prior to all of these articles coming out right now. So let's get into this article from The Gamer. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, I saw this headline from The Gamer, and again, The Gamer is one of these websites that are extremely woke. Obviously, you guys know this already. The Gamer has a certain agenda, just like all of them do, and it's all the same exact agenda. But the headline reads, Dragon Age the Veilguard is that friend that's too woke. And this one is from Tessa. I don't even know how to say this last name, but just looking at the picture, you can pretty much tell that this is the kind of person that would enjoy a game like this. But apparently, the game is too woke. What do they mean by that? Let's find out. So it says, if you're chronically online as I am, you know the meme, and I've been playing Dragon Age the Veilguard, I can't stop thinking about it. Originating from a video skit where a woman refuses to laugh at the Four Seasons Orlando baby because there are worse things happening in the world, the phrase has largely been used as the anti-intellectual cudgel against any kind of remotely sociologically critical social media post. It's used to deem people party poopers for caring about things mostly. I much prefer the way it used to be by people who declare themselves the friend that's too woke because I am that friend that's too woke. I think it's intellectually lazy to complain about people having critical thinking being too woke because they say that your words or actions might be offensive. I am the friend who rolls their eyes when people talk about GPT to write their emails. The friend who boycotts brands out of solidarity. The friend who corrects people when they misgender someone. Oh, you sound like a great time. Like, you sound like a great time. If you're one of those people who are like, it's ma'am, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm good. People pejoratively call me woke all the time, and I don't consider it to be a mark of shame. The Veilguard, however, is woke in a bad way because it's so terrified of being offensive that it erases everything interesting about Dragon Age. Now, I can understand where they're coming from, where this person's coming from, because when you play the Veilguard, you literally feel like you're walking on eggshells the entire time. You kind of feel like your character is meant to be, I don't know, the therapist of your companions. That's really how it feels. And as much as I like to joke about that and whatnot, I'm dead serious when I say that. Every single interaction with Rook and the companions is him or them or whatever the fuck you want to call them. They're trying to be the therapist of their companions. They're constantly trying to solve emotional issues that their companions are going through. There's not a single moment where it's just like a normal interaction. It's always something that requires a therapist. It's pretty damn insane. But then it says, what does it mean to be too woke? Well, there's something to be said about people who act entirely out of fear of being offensive and taking themselves so seriously that they scrub all nuance out of their interactions. This is a highly subjective and personal thing, but I feel most accepted for who I am when my friends can joke about my intersectional identities. I agree with that. You see, like, it's amazing just how much we can agree on certain things if we actually just sit down and have a conversation. You know what I mean? I can agree with that because I am constantly saying that all things should be allowed to be joked about, right? Nothing should be off limits, because if you start making things off limits, then you start creating protected classes, and then you start making those protected classes feel like they are above everyone else. If you cannot joke about them, if you cannot make a funny about them, then they are clearly above everyone else in a way that nobody else will understand, because apparently you're allowed to joke about everyone else, right? This is why I don't like the fact that people try to get fake offended over racial jokes about black people, but then you're going to sit there and be perfectly fine with racial jokes about anyone else. You'll make all the Mexican jokes you want. You'll make all the white jokes you want. But God forbid you make a black joke. Oh, no, that's not allowed. Yeah, fuck that. I am not for that kind of mindset. Never have been, never will be. And you'll have fake-ass people on Twitter trying to pretend like they are and that this is how it should be, but I'm never going to be that way. Then it says, it's funny, when I send a picture of a woman with the caption, she's so beautiful, to the group chat, and I get a string of replies of just the word gay. It's funny when my partner calls me Nobby as shorthand for non-binary. It's funny when I talk about being biracial or bisexual, and my friends tell me to pick a side. That's the spirit of good comedy. Good-spirited ribbing. It is an acknowledgement that they see me for what I am, and they're going to lovingly bully me anyway. Hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's why, like, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with that mindset. Like, you should be allowed to joke about everything. That was such a better place to live. You know what I mean? Like, when the world was allowed to joke about anything and we just had true, actual comedy, that was when everybody was happier. When comedy died, so did the spirit of the world, in my opinion. And that's where we need to bring comedy back. We need to bring the ability to make fun of everybody. This is kind of why I like Dave Chappelle so much, because he makes fun of everyone, and people lose their minds when he makes fun of the certain class, you know, the certain protected class. Nobody gets mad when he makes fun of black people, but that's only because he's black. If he was white, if Dave Chappelle was white, you absolutely know that he would get roasted to all end for making jokes about black people. But because he's black, that's okay, and they allow that. But the moment he went after trans people, oh, no, you can't do that. Then it says the Veilguard has only good guys. Now, this is a big problem for me personally. I've been talking about this while playing Veilguard. I cannot stand the fact that as you play Veilguard, the Rook character feels like a therapist, feels like the good old guy, feels like Mr. Rogers, feels like Goody Two-Shoes. I just feel like no matter what you pick, no matter what you choose, even if you go down the aggressive path, which I've been doing for every single conversation outcome, you still end up just being a good old boy. Then it says, as many people, including our own James Troughton, have already complained, every member of the Veilguard gets along too well, even when they really shouldn't. Everybody's nice to each other, and disagreements are smoothed over quickly, if there are any to begin with. Everybody's self-sacrificing and noble, and none of them have controversial beliefs. Your Rook is just as inoffensive, never saying anything that could step on anyone's toes. Any dialogue you choose is going to be basically the same. Joking responses are never sarcastic or mean-spirited. Aggressive responses are never hostile, just resolute. You can't pick fights with your companions. You can't even really lose approval with them because of the way the game is designed. And again, that's the biggest fault in this game. The simple fact that Rook is just one of those characters that doesn't have any nuance to them, right? Like Rook is just the good old boy. And unfortunately, the companions are the same exact way. It's one fake-ass happy family. And that's the entire feeling you get when you interact with them, right? Every time they get together at that table and they have a little bit of an interaction, you just feel like this is so fake. You feel like the entire interaction between all the characters and the way that they're talking to each other, it almost feels like a family that is trying to pretend to be nice to each other when behind closed doors, they all hate each other. You know what I mean? But they never get to that point. They never speak about it openly. So you all think that everybody loves each other. It's kumbaya, but then secretly everybody hates each other. And then it says every faction is scrubbed of flaws. There's already a total lack of interpersonal conflict in the game because these characters are generally totally lacking in negative traits, which in turn makes them completely yawn-worthy. But this attitude extends into Dragon Age's copious lore. Now, all the NPCs, too, for the most part, are extremely boring because they don't really have much of a personality. And that's the sad thing. Some of them are pretty cool for the most part, you know, some of them. But most of them are not. And most of them are extremely boring, extremely bland, and they are very reminiscent of the companions that you have with Rook. So all of them are designed essentially the same exact way. And you can kind of see that the people who designed this game come from a mindset where they want everything to be nice. You know what I mean? They want the world to be perfect. They want the world to be nice. They want nobody to be made fun of. They want nobody to be hurt, blah, 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 whatever. It is so boring. It is a very boring life to live. It's a life where people are walking on eggshells 24/7, trying not to offend everybody. And to be honest with you, this is kind of the mindset that they want you to have. This is kind of the power that they want to have over you. They want you to bend the knee every time you feel like you misgendered or did something wrong or whatever the case may be. They want that because in their world, they want to feel like they have total control over what everybody says, does, and thinks. So at the end of the day, man, Dragon Age: The Veilguard is a game that it absolutely is woke. There's no doubt about it. There's a big difference between this game and Baldur's Gate 3. Massive difference, especially in the way that it's portrayed. Both of them have woke tendencies, without a doubt, but one of them is factually woke and the other just has some stupid-ass options that really shouldn't be there. But at the end of the day, the game was focused on story first and everything else came second. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it if you get to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.